The 2025 season is shaping up to be a monumental year for many players on the Pittsburgh Steelers roster after years of building through the draft. The team has accumulated a wealth of young talent, and now it's time for those promising players to step up and prove they belong on the big stage. Throughout the mandatory mini-camp and OTA letters, a handful of athletes have caught the eye of the coaching staff and fans alike, signaling that this might be the year they break out and become key contributors. When you look at the Steelers' offense, one name that stands out immediately is Caleb Johnson, the rookie running back out of Iowa. Since the moment he was drafted, there's been a lot of buzz about how perfectly his style meshes with Pittsburgh's offensive scheme, especially under the guidance of offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. Johnson's outside zone running style fits like a glove with the Steelers' approach, which heavily emphasizes that zone scheme on the ground. The parallels between what the Steelers are trying to build and what the Philadelphia Eagles have done with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts are striking. The Eagles brought in Barkley to be that dynamic rushing weapon, surrounded him with a capable quarterback in Hurts who plays smart football, but isn't necessarily elite, and lean heavily on an elite defense to carry the team. Pittsburgh seems to be chasing a similar blueprint, with Kenny Pickett playing the role of the steady, smart quarterback and the defense loaded with talent aimed to be dominant. Now, what the Steelers are desperately seeking is that explosive running back to elevate the offense to the next level. Caleb Johnson isn't Barkley, and no one's suggesting he will be. But if Johnson's NFL readiness and fit within Arthur Smith's system prove true, he has the potential to be a legitimate breakout star for Pittsburgh this season. His ability to immediately impact the running game could transform the Steelers into a legitimate title contender, especially if he can deliver the kind of production and consistency that teams expect from a feature back right out of the gate. While Johnson might not start the season as the clear-cut number one running back, the progression is there. Many believe that Jalen Warren will open the year as the lead back, but Johnson's talent and productivity will force the coaching staff to give him more and more touches. By the time the Steelers get to Week 6 and face the Cleveland Browns at home, it wouldn't be a surprise to see Caleb Johnson established as the team's bona fide number one running back, dominating the backfield and carrying the offense. The question now becomes, will he earn that role early or gradually take it over? Either way, his performance during the early weeks will be crucial for Pittsburgh's success this season. Moving on to another exciting player flying under the radar, Calvin Austin III is someone who has shown flashes that suggest a big breakout is on the horizon. Austin is reminiscent of players like Darnell Mooney and Brandon Cooks during their prime, smaller receivers who thrive on the outside due to their speed and route running ability rather than relying on size or strength. What Austin lacks in bulk, he makes up for with his explosiveness and ability to stretch the field vertically. His speed makes him a constant threat not only as a receiver but also as a punt returner, where his vision and agility allow him to create big plays on special teams. Last season, Austin posted just over 550 receiving yards, which was his career high, with an impressive average of over 15 yards per catch and for touchdowns on 36 receptions. These numbers don't fully capture his impact because he often wasn't the primary target in the passing game. Both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields tend to focus on their first read before moving on, and Austin was frequently second or third in the progression. This limited his opportunities, but with Kenny Pickett at quarterback, known for his superior mental processing and ability to read defenses, Austin should see the ball much more often. Pickett's precision and quick decision-making could unlock Austin's potential and lead to a breakout season that raises his profile in the league. Another offensive threat who stands to benefit immensely from having Aaron Rodgers under center is Darnell Washington. Whether you call him DW or Mount Washington, this big tight end is looking more explosive and confident than ever in the Steelers' uniform. Washington himself has expressed feeling better physically than in his previous seasons, having lost 15 pounds, which has translated into improved mobility and stamina. His understanding of the receiving aspect of his position has grown since his college days at Georgia, and with his massive frame, he brings a unique dimension to the offense. Rodgers has compared Washington to Mercedes Lewis, a hulking tight end with the size of an offensive lineman who was extremely productive in his prime. Rodgers' ability to use big tight ends effectively is well known, and Washington could very well become that reliable weapon in the red zone and on intermediate routes that the Steelers have been lacking. His potential breakout could add a whole new layer to Pittsburgh's offensive attack. Shifting to the offensive line, Troy Futano at right tackle has shown enough on tape to inspire confidence, especially after his solid performance in his first NFL action against Denver last year. His ability to handle strong pass rushers bodes well for his development, provided he can stay healthy. Medical concerns regarding his knees were noted by several teams before the draft, but Pittsburgh was willing to take that risk, selecting him in the first round. If he can avoid injuries, Futano is poised to be a cornerstone of the offensive line. Alongside him, Brick Jones could surprise many this year. After struggling at right tackle over the past 2 seasons, Jones is moving back to left tackle, a position where he feels more comfortable and which suits his skill set better. Despite the disappointing performances early in his career, his physical traits and draft pedigree remain impressive. The Steelers even traded up to acquire him, which shows their belief in his potential. If Jones can tap into that potential now that he's playing where he fits best, he might not only improve but also become the franchise left tackle moving forward. It will be interesting to see how he responds to this new opportunity. Mason McCormick, another young offensive lineman, rounds out this trio of promising blockers. Drafted in the later rounds, but graded as a data talent coming out of South Dakota State, McCormick was an absolute steal for the Steelers. His flashes of quality play last year showed that he has the raw talent, but inconsistency and adjusting to a new position have slowed his progress. Originally expected to back up James Daniels at right guard, McCormick found himself playing more than anticipated due to injuries and rotations. His versatility to switch from left guard to right guard speaks to his adaptability. Together with Futano and Zach Frazier, McCormick has a chance to develop into a reliable piece of the Steelers' line for years to come. Transitioning to the defensive side, one name that has been talked about for a while is Keno Benson. The expectation has been that Benson would have a true breakout, but so far, he's delivered flashes rather than consistent dominance. Over the last couple of seasons, he's been a solid contributor, but not quite the monster many anticipated. This year, with the addition of Derek Harmon from Oregon, the hope is that Benson will stay fresher and more explosive, allowing him to make a greater impact. Harmon brings a disruptive presence as a pass rusher with quick feet, fast hands, and strong run defense ability. With Benson, Cam Hayward, and Harmon rotating on the defensive line, plus quality depth in Daniel Ackwell, Dean Lowry, and Logan Lee, the Steelers might have one of the deepest and most effective defensive line rotations in the league. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are growing loud around the NFL as the Pittsburgh Steelers reportedly set their sights on a bold win-now move that could shake the league's offseason. Sources close to the organization hint that the Steelers are eyeing wide receiver Terry McLaurin, signaling a surprising shift away from the conventional rebuilding approach. The message within the Steelers camp seems clear. It's win or win, no more waiting years to build through the draft or patiently develop talent. This potential trade or signing would mark a dramatic pivot for Pittsburgh, traditionally known for steady, methodical roster construction instead of focusing on youth and long-term growth. The Steelers appear ready to aggressively pursue immediate impact players to revive their offense. McLaurin, widely recognized as one of the league's top wideouts, fits that mold perfectly. A dynamic playmaker capable of changing games on his own. The buzz suggests Pittsburgh's front office is convinced the window to contend is still open, despite a couple of recent seasons filled with inconsistencies and growing pains. With veteran quarterback leadership and a defense that's still competitive, adding a weapon like McLaurin could be the missing piece to push them back into playoff contention. It's a risky gamble, no doubt, especially as many expect the Steelers to rebuild with younger assets. But insiders indicate the Steelers believe this all-in approach is their best shot at returning to prominence sooner rather than later. Of course, acquiring McLaurin won't be easy or cheap. The Washington Commanders value their star receiver highly, and any deal would likely involve significant draft capital or a star player exchange. Still, the Steelers' willingness to break tradition and ignore the typical rebuild blueprint is sparking excitement and speculation among fans and analysts alike. Could this be the move that finally ends Pittsburgh's postseason drought and reestablishes them as a dominant force in the AFC? For now, all eyes remain on Pittsburgh as the offseason unfolds. Rumors like these rarely develop in isolation, and the Steelers' bold attitude sends a strong message. Patience is out, urgency isn't. Whether the McLaurin talks materialize into a blockbuster trade or a high-profile signing remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. The Steelers are ready to bet big on winning now. No matter the cost, stay tuned, because this story is just heating up, and the NFL offseason may have its most intriguing saga yet in Pittsburgh. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.